There's lots of soybeans and soybean oil now. We feed it to our animals. We feed it to ourselves. We feed it to our children. And, let's not overthink this. The way you eat something is you put it in your mouth, you swallow it. And so eventually it's going to go into your stomach and then through your GI tract and then to your liver and then to your adipose tissue, all of these places. Let's start in the gut because you've done some work on IBD and colitis. What is
Yeah.
going on when lots of soybean oil in the diet or diets that contain a lot of soybean oil and linoleic acid get into the GI tract and the intestines with respect to IBD and the microbiome and things like that?
Yeah, so good question. So we published this paper in 2023. Again, this is the work of Dr. Sonia Dial. And this was after our first obesity paper. And she had a training in the gut. So we really wanted to look at the gut and see what was going on there. And so we found several things. What we did is, so this is an experimental mouse system to answer questions that you cannot ask directly in humans because you can't do experiments on humans, right? So what she did is she fed the mice a diet high in soybean oil for about 8 to 12 weeks. So before the point at which they start really getting fat. The mice on the soybean oil don't really start getting fat until after 12 weeks. But what she found several things. One, she found a decrease in the barrier function. So there is a barrier between the gut and the rest of the body. People have heard of the leaky gut syndrome where your gut is leaky, stuff is going through, getting into the body that shouldn't be. And so if you mice fed a soybean oil diet for about 8 to 10 weeks, they will start getting a leaky gut. So that's number one. There's ways we can measure that in mice.
And so yeah. 8, 10, 12 weeks, you're doing experiments in mice, and it's taking that many weeks for these linoleic acid induced effects to manifest. If we were to scale that to a human, how much time would we be talking about roughly?
Well, that's a really good idea. I mean, the mouse metabolism is about 12 times that of humans, but that's sort of for just general metabolism. How that impacts in the gut, I don't know. That's a really good question. But I think it'd be safe to say, back to the issue of, do I have to freak out every time I've had soybean oil? The answer is no, right? The problem with society now is that we're getting soybean oil from no matter where we're eating, what we're eating. And so you're never having a break for it. Right. And so the other thing that happened around that time is that we saw a change in the microbiome, right? And in particular, there was this one bacteria, it's a type of E. coli called an adherent invasive E. coli. And this was increased. We didn't see it in the mice fed the normal low-fat diet, but we saw in great abundance in the soybean oil diet. And interesting, this bacterium, the version found in humans, so the human bacteria, but it's not really human bacteria, but the version of this bacteria that they found in humans in IBD patients and has been shown to actually cause colitis and inflammatory bowel disease in humans. That version, we saw that bacteria in mouse.
I see. So we knew already that IBD in humans is tied to this type of E. coli, this particular strain of E. coli. You can actually give someone IBD through this version of E. coli growing in their gut. And then you guys found separately, when you put mice on a high soybean oil diet, you start to get the equivalent strain of E. coli growing more in their gut.
Yes, right. Exactly. Yeah.